Hey y'all, what's happening? Kirby Jumbo here with my second video in this new channel called My Favorite Things. Last time we did my favorite rock group, my favorite band, Rush. This time we're doing my favorite TV, movie, franchise series. Of course, I'm talking about Star Trek and the Star Trek universe. Star Trek, wow, man. What a series. I live for Star Trek sometimes. I mean, sometimes I just can't wait to see what's going on. And right now we're living with the age of streaming, one of the, what I would call the third golden age of Star Trek. It's fantastic what's going on right now. Let me talk about my history of Star Trek as I did with history of Rush and how did I get into it. And, you know, as a child growing up in the 60s and 70s, Star Trek was there. Originally on television at night, then into syndication, then the Star Trek animated series. It was very present. I loved all of those. I would watch them whenever they came on TV. There was just something unique about it. I had this thing for space too. I loved the concept of space. I loved sci-fi. I still love sci-fi today. I mean, I love different sci-fi series, and it's not just Star Trek, but I mean, I'm into sci-fi, sci-fantasy of Star Wars. I'm into I love the X-Files and Doctor Who. I love these kind of things. But Star Trek has a very, very special place for me. And I just love the characters, especially Spock, of course. Everyone loved Spock. There's Scotty, who didn't love Scotty? Lieutenant Uhura, Kirk, of course. Oh, the whole cast was fantastic, and just love their interaction. I love what they're able to do. Loved Roddenberry's vision of the future. I love that some of the series, some of the episodes were quite serious and a little bit frightening, maybe for a little small child or even a kid growing up as myself. But some of them were actually quite funny too. Trouble with Tribbles. So it was a really great series. Their interactions were really great. Now, when Star Trek went, this period when Star Trek went off the air, I still, since it was in syndication, you could always watch it. But for me, where I really became like the ultimate geek of Star Trek, all right, is when that time period where Next Generation came out and the movies of the original series were out. And I call that like the second golden age of Star Trek. Because the Next Generation began to really hook me. I wasn't totally sold on the first thing. I was really watching. I watched every episode. Wasn't told, but I liked it, but it still wasn't quite there yet for me. But about a third season, man, was I hooked. I just thought they began to gel as a season, as a character, as a group of characters. Let's say as a cast, I should say. I thought the stories were just getting outstanding. I mean, it began to, Jean-Luc Picard, Worf, Data. These characters were were just outstanding, and I just loved them. And I remember even going to having we had a friend of mine who was a big Star Trek The Next Generation fan, and remember we had the last episode. We got together to watch it and to kind of console each other, but also to enjoy the last episode together. But what also happened around that same time is that you had those movies, you had the Star Trek movies happening around the same time period. Even The Wrath of Khan and The Voyage Home, the Undiscovered Country. What fantastic films. So this was a great age. And at that same time, even though Next Generation holds a very special place, I would have to hold like neck and neck with that was the series of Deep Space Nine. You had Voyager, which came along later as well too. But for me, Deep Space Nine held a very special place. I at first, again, took a little while to get into Deep Space Nine, but the stories and the characters and all of the arcs of the story arcs, and then the different characters, minor characters and major characters, and all the stories involved in Deep Space Nine was fantastic. I still love Deep Space Nine as much as I love Next Generation today as well. And then, of course, later on we had the Enterprise series that came along, which went a little back in time. And I mean, they're just fantastic series. But for me, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine at that point, and the Star Trek original series movies, boom, right there, that second golden age. Love them. Today, wow, what is happening today? Well, it came back. It came back with J.J. Abrams movies, which I especially love the first two, especially the first one, and the second one. Well, I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I thought he was fantastic in that. But those first two movies were great, and then the streaming, Star Trek Discovery. Oh my gosh, this is getting like, okay, Next Generation, and then the original movies, and Deep Space Nine, and Discovery. Oh my gosh, the amazing Discovery, just fantastic series. I just love the characters. I love where the story has gone. I loved all three seasons so far of Star Trek. I actually said second season probably my favorite because it had Captain Pike, of course, and then of course he's gonna have his whole new series of Strange New Worlds, and the young Data, played by Gregory Peck's grandson. Wow, Gregory Peck, and so fantastic. That's gonna be wonderful, I'm sure. And then we had the comedy of Lower Decks, the cartoon series, which was hilarious, funny. And then Picard came back, his own series, Star Trek Picard. Oh my goodness. I mean, all these series going on right now, and then we're going to be getting a series on Nickelodeon for an animated series Nickelodeon featuring Janeway of Voyager. And then we're going to get also and I think another series is coming on. I think Section 31 series is coming on as well. Wow. So, and I think Giorgio is going to be in that. So it's going to be fantastic. So all of these things happening in this new golden age of Star Trek. So there's so much to enjoy about Star Trek. For me, one of the things is that it's always a reflection of what's happening around the world. So we see the future and the future as it could be, and it reflects what's happening in the world. I mean, there's a lot of subtext sometimes in a lot of the episodes where you see what's going on in our world today. And for me, Star Trek gives us a vision of hope for the future. Even you might have wars, and even there might be, problems between civilizations. There is also this underlying Starfleet represents hope for the future. It represents hope for us as a species and a hope for us as a universe. And so that's one of the things. And plus, it's just really cool. I mean the characters, the effects, just the concepts. I live for Star Trek. So I'm looking forward to later this year where some of the next seasons of Lower Decks will be coming out, and Discovery will be coming out, and Picard will be coming out, and then some new series probably in the coming year. So man, are we living in a wonderful time to do. I can talk about Star Trek all the time. This is actually just probably my first video. I'm sure it will be my first video to talk about Star Trek, but just kind of like an intro and how much I love Trek. So I want you to talk about, perhaps, if you want to make some comments about what's your favorite episodes, what's your favorite series, what's your favorite characters. What episodes really just ring with you, ring true with you. I mean, for me, one of my favorite episodes of all time, Deep Space Nine. Okay, and let's see if you can guess what it is. I made a reference. It has a reference to the original series. Yeah. Okay. Trials and Tribulations, right? And so I love that series, Trials and Tribulations. That episode, I should say, because it's so well done. It's like homage to the original series. It has clips from the original series and clips from Deep Space Nine. I love that episode. It's absolutely fantastic. So, but that would be probably my favorite episode. Favorite characters? Data. Probably Data. Yeah. Who doesn't love Data? I mean, there's a lot of great characters. I love some characters from the new series as well. I mean, from like Discovery, you have great characters. You have I love Tilly. Tilly's fantastic. There's a lot of great characters, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. My love for this series, and thank goodness it's here. So I just want to introduce a little bit for those of you who didn't know that I was a big Star Trek geek, a Trekker, Trekkie, whatever you want me to call me. But I want to let you know that I am, and I'd love to talk about Star Trek even more. And so maybe until next time, everyone take care, and of course, live long and prosper. Okay, see y'all.